Hello and welcome back to the uh, Astroflower. This is going to be uh, a life in the life in the healer's life. Day in the life of a healer. That's what it is. I'm terrible, really. Hello and welcome back to the Astroflower and a day in the life of a healer episode. This is an episode that I've been wanting to do for a long time, actually. It's the number one problem that I come across in my healing process. So if you have a problem with the back, it's not just a case of I can just go ahead and put my hands on, do hands-on healing and stuff like that. But what I find much more interesting is trying to help the person understand why they're having a bad back. Because then they can prevent it in the future. I think prevention's a lot better than cure. So this is the number one problem that I come across pretty much every time. Pretty much every time. And I've seen over 20,000 people over my time of being a healer, and it's been absolutely brilliant. I've met some amazing people. Some people who blow your minds, other people that just make you kind of go, oh my word, what made you think that was a good idea? So it is the number one problem. And that number one problem creates a lot of issues within your life. It can, so sleep deprivation, perpetual tiredness, bouts of tiredness, bouts of anger that you don't even really know what you're angry about, forgetfulness, bumping into furniture, anxiety. There's multitudes of different things that it's a very simple thing, but it creates a lot of issues. And once you get those issues and those sort of stress and the repetitive things that you notice a lot, that is the recipe for other illnesses such as cancer, such as eczema, such as bad backs, such as, liver problems. It's a contributory factor. I wouldn't say it's the primary factor, but, you can grow a seed in water. It would probably prefer beautiful earth, but you can do hydroponics. That seed is always going to grow. So it's a factor, and it's one of the major factors which stop you as well from living the life you wish to live. And I see it in everyone. When I look at when people come see me, they sit down in front of you like I'm sitting in front of you now. And the first thing I do is look at their aura and see what's going on with the energies that are within their aura. And the first thing I notice is where their powerhouse of energy is, where they're using all their energy. And unfortunately, the majority of people tend to put all their energy up there. Obviously you're watching this on a computer, television, or a telephone. And what it's doing is it's focusing your viewing point, your point of focus, which also then aligns your point of focus within your mind. And it's using your RAM, as if you like, if you're looking at a computer, the memory that you use to stock information as it filters it through. And that's why you need a lot of energy in that section there. The problem being there is, once you go down below the nose of the person, the rest of the body, there's not a lot going on. And because there's not a lot going on, that is going to affect the emotions, and that's what creates anxiety, that's what creates the tiredness and so forth, because you never really switch off. Another thing is that people tend to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning, give or take an hour either way. 2 o'clock is the moment that we unhook our brain to go into real deep sleep. 4 o'clock is the moment when we reconnect it. So when you unhook it at 2 o'clock, you might unhook it and go, oh, and feel like you're falling and stuff like that. It's because you're jumping into the abyss of deep sleep. And when you reconnect it, it may reconnect too quickly and you're going to, oh, damn, woken up. That's another good sign. And everything we do these days is orientated to the mind. And I'm not sure that's a good thing. So energetically speaking, you have 100% energy. You don't have 110, and you don't have 90%. You are never missing energy, and you never have too much energy. All you're doing is taking that energy and you're concentrating it in one area. So you're probably putting 80% of your energy into 10% of your being. That means 90% of your energy has to exist on only 20% of the flow. And that's where the problem comes in, because the moment you get an emotion and the connection with life that touches your heart does not have the sufficient amount of energy to deal with that emotional engagement, and it shoots straight up to your head and makes you kind of go, ooh, which could be a really good thing, obviously, when we fall in love, as it were. I think there's some young person who doesn't want to go on a walk. And but other times it can be very disturbing and disruptive the moment we get that emotion that runs up to the head. To have a reflection, you must feel something. You must have a sentiment. To have a sentiment, you must have a sensation, which means feeling. Now, your mind or your brain, as it were, I could take in operations they put probes that goes through the mind for Parkinson's disease to stop trembling. And the person has to be awake when the operation is happening, because they have to be doing an activity to see what frequency stops them from shaking. And they do not feel a thing within their brain. They feel it when they're opening up the skull and stuff like that. But the brain does not feel anything at all. It has no sentiments, no emotions whatsoever. All the nervous system that we have, yes, it goes for functioning the body, to making muscles react. But at the same time, it's looking for answers in your emotional engagement with the world, of what you feel about the world. And that is really important. That's the component that people tend to forget about. And when they forget about it and they pour their energy out of those systems can fall into illness through stress, etc. There is a technique that I will give you that will help you take control of that monkey mind. The problem is the moment you start giving all your energy to your monkey mind all the time, it's like a drug. the monkey will want it all the time, and it will not leave you alone. It will constantly be chattering at you, saying, what about this? What about that? What about this? Don't forget this. Don't forget that. You know, and that's one of the other components that you can realize, that if you've always got this voice in your mind sort of telling you things, then yeah, you're overthinking. So we need to put that monkey mind back in its place. And we need to live and enjoy life. And enjoying life, you've got to recognize what it is in life that gives you a pleasure. Now the question is what is a pleasure? And everyone sort of says, pleasure is this, that, and the other. And I said, well, say like pleasure is, riding my horse. Okay, yeah, but what is the pleasure in the act of riding a horse? And gradually we get to the essences of what is a pleasure. Now, there are 7 pleasures in the universe for the human. I call them the 7 wonders of the world, the true 7 wonders of the world. And it's the reason we do everything. And taking back control from your monkey mind and living life fully, you need to integrate those 7 wonders within your life. So I explain it like this. I go to the beach, I put my feet in the sand, I do that with my toes. I have a moment that is magical. I take the sand back to my house, I put the sand in my front room, I put my feet in the sand, I do that with my toes. It's not the same thing. What I'm missing is the 7 wonders that correspond with that activity. And those 7 wonders we learn between the ages of 0 and 9 months of our lives. Right at the beginning. After 9 months of your life, in theory, there is no choices whatsoever that you need to make. All you are supposed to be doing is following the evident path according to what gives you a pleasure, and also with that part, what is logical for me to do. Now this plays into that manifestation video as well that I did on this channel this week as well. You'll be able to go into that and see about that as well. So the 7 wonders we choose between the ages of 0 and 9 months of our lives. They're very, very simple things. They make up everything that we do. So it is color, temperature, odor, taste, shape, texture, and sound. Okay? The 7 wonders of the world. When I go to the beach, it's the sound of the waves. It's the shape of the waves. It's the color of the sea. It's the texture of the sand. It's the smell of the sea. It's the taste of the sea. It's the temperature or not of the sun that makes that moment when I put my feet in the sand and do that with my toes. I open magical doors and things can happen in my life. It's the same thing when I'm making chips or fries, as you would say in America. When the temperature is right, they start to smell right. They take on a certain color. I can see the texture of it. The shape of what I've cut into the fries or the chips is absolutely perfect. They sing in a particular way. You can hear them just going, oh yeah. And the taste of them will be the icing on the cake. Those 7 wonders you find in everything. Understanding that is very important for this technique, which is going to help you to turn your monkey mind from something that isn't badgering you to something that is helping you to manifest the life that you wish to live. Okay? So, every morning, because it's a training exercise, and I would do it every single day to the end of your life. Okay? And we're going to do it now. I call it the tea meditation. Okay? Every morning, you get up, you get dressed, you have your breakfast. Before you engage in the world, and you could do this before you get dressed and have your breakfast and everything like that, it's not a problem. But before you engage in the outside world, start organizing things, start realizing you've got to go to work and what have you, what you need to do is you need to find a seat somewhere. It could be anywhere. It could be in your house. I would change your place of, on a regular basis. And you take yourself a cup of tea. Or you can have hot water. It's not a problem. I wouldn't take a small espresso simply because it's not big enough. Okay? So you want a hot cup of tea or hot water. And what you do is you find a chair, you sit down, we'll go through it now, and you relax. You allow your body to relax. The moment you allow your body to relax, your monkey mind starts kind of going, ba 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 ba. It starts saying things like, oh yeah, you got to get some bread today. Oh, I've got to go and do that paperwork for the flat. Oof, I've got to look at the tyres on the car. Do you know, I'd like to go to the cinema. I think I want to go on holiday. Your monkey mind is made up of two spheres, the yin and the yang, the two spheres of the brain, and it comes together in the four part of your brain. It goes through the cortex, going between the two, and then is projected through the third eye, through the here and now in your frontal lobes, your frontal cortex, your frontal lobe cortex, or whatever it is. And it's only showing you two things in reality, your monkey mind at that point there. It's only showing you what you need to do. Let me just put my tea down. What you need to do and what you want to do. That is all it is showing you at the very beginning. Now, if your list of needs is massive, that you cannot do it in the day, first thing you do is once the monkey mind starts slowing down a little bit, and you'll notice that the monkey mind will start slowing down, you take that list of needs, it's way too much to do in one day, you give it back to your monkey mind, and you say to your monkey mind, you say, give me a list that I can do today. The possible, not the impossible. And I guarantee you, your monkey mind will come out with, okay, we definitely have to look at the tires on the car. We definitely have to do that paperwork for the house. I definitely have to look at the advert of advertising of selling something that I was trying to sell. Yeah, and we definitely need some bread. And it come back with, say, like 4 or 5 things. Yeah. If you notice that all of your things are associated with other people, so my son needs this or my daughter needs this. Yes, we're here to help, but you're not here to live for them. You'll know the real issue for you. Because what is life for? I'll answer that in another video, actually. It'll be way too long. Okay? So you'll realize those issues. Once you've got those 4 or 5, maybe 6 things that the monkey mind gives you, you take that little list, you give it to your monkey mind, and you say to your monkey mind, deal with it. You give your subconscious work to do. You say to your monkey mind, remind me at the most appropriate moment to do or to retrieve those needs of my day. So for the rest of the day, your monkey mind will leave you alone because he's got work to do. Your monkey mind will just be sitting there kind of going, okay, Tom needs a bit of bread. And eventually, it'll make me think of bread, or I'll hear something, or I'll smell something. And I turn around like that and I go, oh, look, boulangerie, a baker's. Fantastic bread. Oh, well done. Thank you, monkey mind. Rather than me walking down the road saying, don't forget the bread, don't forget the bread, don't forget the bread. Because whilst you're doing that, you're not thinking about, I want to go on holiday. Now, this is all about that manifestation thing that I was talking about, which is on another video on this channel. So I'm cutting a lot of things out of my life if I'm walking down the street sort of saying, don't forget to go to the post, don't forget to the post office, don't forget the post office. Okay? You will naturally remember to go to the post office. Maybe my body will turn around to my monkey mind and say, hey, monkey mind, body here, stomach, not really a big fan of gluten. You can forget the bread and you will not buy the bread. It's important for another person to have bread on the table. Maybe their monkey mind should remember to buy the bread and not you. Okay? Now, your needs and wants will usually take at the beginning about that much of your tea. Not a great deal. A quarter of your tea, I would say, roughly, give or take. And then you need to start connecting to your seven wonders because they are the signposts that direct you towards what I would call is the evident path, the path that you should be living. Okay? So color, temperature, odor, taste, shape, texture, and sound. Okay? I would stick my other finger up, but I'd drop my tea. I'd use my nose. It's the seven wonders. Okay? So if I'm sitting here now, obviously it's quite windy. And I like the sounds of the wind. But there's different sounds. I've got sounds of a little tree here, a little silver birch here that's rustling its leaves. But I've also got the bigger sound of the air going through the trees that are behind me here. And I like the power of that. What I don't like is the sound of that aircraft. And that's also good to notice. If I look at the colours, so behind me here, you've got this beautiful heather. Let me just show you what it looks like. Can I borrow a bit of heather, please, nature? It's all sort of purpley and white and everything like that. It's absolutely lovely. Really nice stuff. All over the place at the moment. It's beautiful. And in theory, you kind of go, yeah, that'd be it. But no, it's not. I've got a lot of ferns around as well, which is this thing here. And there's a lot of new growth on the ferns. And what is striking to me is the light green colour of the new ferns. It's really electric and I'm finding it really beautiful. So what is light green? Now this is where you can take it even further and saying light green is associated with the heart. It's also associated with the earth. It's also new life and so forth. So it's inspirational to me. It's inspiring me to new life, to new direction and so forth. As for shapes, in the heather, I've got little spikes. I don't know if you can see them behind me. You should be able to see them in the distance. They're little fine spikes of grass that's had their seeds on it and they've been blown all over the place. And I like that because it seems to be really defined, really straight and so forth. And I'm really enjoying it sort of just going like that in the wind. Absolutely beautiful. As for the smells, I can smell the pine tree, freshness, a new start. It's all about something new here. It's the sowing of seeds. It's being very direct. It's that light green sort of playing to me. I like the textures of the heather, that purple stuff, that goes through the brush of the grasses. It looks like something like you could say like a sponge sort of thing. It's like very fluffy. It's very nice, you know. and it's quite uniformed really, in its all its things, but it's very fluffy. I also like the textures of the forest that's in the background, made up of lots of different trees. So I'm doing this as I drink my tea. Now that's going to take up the rest of your tea. The reason we do this, because later on in the day, when I'm walking down the street, and rather than I'm saying to myself, don't forget the bread, don't forget the bread, what I'm saying to myself is I'd like to go on holiday, but I don't know where. And I know the high road, the main street of the town I'm in. I know the shops. I don't have to look into the shops. I know what they're selling, and I'm not looking for anything that they're selling today. But for that day, for some reason, I look into the window of that shop and there's a poster that's been in there for months in the window of that shop. And it's a man smoking a massive cigar. And I say to myself, do you know what? Cuba would be fantastic as a holiday. But the reason I'm drawn to that at that moment there is because the shop is the same color as those ferns that I saw in the morning, or there may be um, like a curtain in the window that sort of got that same sort of effect as the heather, or it has straight lines in its letters that reminds me of that grass that's sticking up, or I get the odor, or I get the sound of the wind blowing, or maybe a bird that I've been listening to. And basically, that is saying to me, I should be going to Cuba. But the thing is, I don't have enough money to go to Cuba. And this is where we get into the needs and the wants. I want to go to Cuba. There's lots of needs attached to it. Rather than concentrating on I need to go to get the bread and everything like that, the everyday stuff, I'm now sort of concentrating on, I need enough money to go to Cuba. And that's when my monkey mind can help me to manifest things. Because now my monkey mind, rather than being there, being Mr. Busybody, trying to take over everything, it's now got enough space to kind of go, okay, Tom needs more money. Therefore, I'm going to create a situation where Tom can get more money. So he can go to Cuba. And I can discover calypso music, come back to where I'm living, start a calypso bar, and that's exactly what I should be doing in my life. Now, all of this takes the time of a tea. When my tea becomes cold to the taste, it's time to get out the chair and go. That's the reason we have the hot water and the tea. So it's a natural moment of time. It's not a time where we kind of go, well, I've got 10 minutes and I'll set an alarm. No, it doesn't work. It's got to be a natural lapse of time. Once you realize that natural lapse of time, before you get out the chair, and this is essential, and we're going to do it all together. So let's just sit back and relax wherever you are. If you're driving a car, stop the car, obviously. And you shouldn't be watching the video while driving the car. You could be listening to it, of course. But before you get out of the chair, you relax. And what I would like you to do is just within your mind's eye, your imagination. You imagine like a soap bubble. You know the soap bubbles that you blow like that as kids? You imagine the soap bubble floating in air. And once you can see that soap bubble, you take that soap bubble and you allow that soap bubble to come and sit on top of your head. And once it's sitting on top of your head and you can see that soap bubble in your mind's eye, it's really important to keep your eyes open. Do not close your eyes when you do this. It's very important. It's a training for the mind, not your eyes. Okay? Once you can see that soap bubble sitting on top of your head, you keep watching it, but you allow it to slide down the back of your head. So it slides down the back of my head, starts sliding down the back of my neck, sliding down my back, between my shoulder blades, the middle of my back. As it goes down the middle of my back, it makes it to the base of my spine. And at the base of my spine, my soap bubble divides into two soap bubbles, goes round my hips, starts coming down my legs, comes to my knees, goes past my knees, goes down the front of my shins, goes across my ankles, along my feet, gets to my toes, and when it gets to my toes, it just goes and pops. Now, try and use your mind to think about something, about anything. You will find it difficult to think about something because now you've taken that electricity away from your monkey mind, that energy, and you're now starting to nourish your entire body. So you can think about a part of your body now that you may have been having problems with, let's say a knee, for example. And you can bring that energy into your knee, and therefore you can do a bit of healing on yourself. Therefore, you will have the knees in order to climb Mount Everest. And then you can get up and live your life. It will help you for sleep, anxiety, because that's what anxiety is when the emotion comes up and goes up to the monkey mind or the brain is not adapted to deal with emotions, and that's what causes anxiety, sleeplessness, waking up, bouts of anger. There's lots of different things, illnesses, so forth. If you do it every single day, within a week, within 10 days, you'll notice a massive difference about how you think and how productive you're becoming in life. In theory, you will gain 1 hour a day in your life. That's 7 hours a week. That's 52 working days a year. It's almost 3 months of work once you take away weekend, holiday pay and, all of those sort of things. Once you take away that, it's pretty much 3 months of work that you will get back in your life. And the question is what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with that time? And that's when you can start exploring what you should be living. So there you go. A big tip, seriously. It will stop a lot of illusions about life, about energy, about a lot of things in life. You will start realizing that it's a lot more practical than you think. Okay? Hope you get the best out of these videos. Thanking you very much for all your confidence to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget about the weekly readings that we do on the Thursday and the Friday. Thursday is for fire and earth. Friday is for water and air. The messages from energy as well that we do as well on this channel, and lots of other stuff as well, and the lives and what have you. Thanking you very much for being here. Love to see your comments. Always beautiful to see. In the meantime, all that's left for me to say is don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy.